It's affected every stage of my life.
For 20 years, she carried a soul-crushing secret. Gina Viveros Rocha, sexually abused since she was just 5 years old.
It's one of those things where I didn't know that it wasn't wrong till it was too late.
Gina says her abuser started by gaining her trust, normalizing touching, which led to rape. As she grew older and more suspicious, the abuser started to control her using guilt and shame.
It would have just been so easy to say something then, but I just couldn't.
Gina's is a sadly typical story. She and her family were manipulated and groomed by the molester.
You get the fear of like, no one's going to believe you.
In Snohomish County alone this year, 1,540 children will be molested. That's enough to fill 22 school buses. According to the CDC, nationwide, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will experience some sort of sexual abuse by 18 years old. And those numbers are widely believed to be low.
Some of the stuff is difficult to hear.
Detectives Kristen Parnell and Philip Bassett are making it their life's work to stop the abuse.
Most of these child molesters are going to go their entire life and never be caught.
They're running a program called Protecting Your Children through the Lake Stevens Police Department. In it, they use interviews with convicted child molesters to give parents a look into how they think and act, like the grooming of potential victims.
That's part of the grooming process, is getting them to trust you, to rely on you.
And the manipulation of both parents.
You say the things that you think people want to hear.
And innocent children.
That you would like to hear. You exercise that sympathy.
The more nervous that you make them, the more it makes it seem like they're lying.
The training looks to lay bare the reality of child molestation in America.
Our job is not to cause undue alarm. Our job is to somewhat ring the alarm bell to say this is happening. Please take notice.
Among the myths, according to Detective Bassett, is that most molesters are strangers laying in wait for an unsuspecting victim.
A child molester is going to be somebody you know. It's going to be a coach. It's going to be a teacher. It's going to be an uncle. It's going to be that second cousin. It's going to be somebody that you know, that your child knows, that you trust, and that your child trusts.
In other words, someone you already give access to your child. Most children stay silent. Most parents wouldn't suspect anything was wrong. This man we'll call Dave is a convicted level 3 sex offender from King County. He agreed to speak with us under the condition of anonymity. Police want his identity concealed to keep from further traumatizing his victims.
Why did you decide to sit down and talk with us?
I'm sure a lot of parents have things they look out for, but hearing it from a different perspective might enlighten things.
Why do sex offenders do what they do?
Nothing else really matters other than getting what you want. It's definitely easier to take advantage of kids.
Dave says winning the trust of a child is key.
Kids are more susceptible to receiving compliments. So if somebody gives you attention, no matter what it's from, or even if it's a person that you don't know, it probably feels good. So you'll probably lean into it a little bit more.
If the child tries to break away, then comes the manipulation.
I think it moves more from manipulation into force, whether that be physical force or threats, extortion, kind of any manner to still get what they originally wanted. If an adult is talking to a child, I can't think of one reason of why it would be positive.
But sometimes it's impossible to avoid that adult, and Gina is now confronting that demon.
You get the fear of like, no one's going to believe you.
Gina calls that man the monster I knew.
No, this man took advantage of my trust.
As part of the police training, she's now courageously telling her story publicly for the first time after 2 decades of abuse.
I would say like my inner child is scared of having this out there.
The monster she knew, her very own father, now serving a 47-year prison sentence for rape and child abuse. Gina just turned 30 years old. She's happily married. After a lifetime filled with abuse, her sentence is finally over.
You're just the bestest boy. Living for the child that didn't get to live, I think that's kind of what keeps me up and going. People need at least to know that they're not alone and that they can leave and that people are still gonna love them.
Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
So the bottom line advice for parents is if something does not feel right, it probably isn't and should be reported to police. Experts add, despite the common belief that most abusers were victims of abuse, studies show 30% of convicted child molesters were abused themselves. We have put together a special page on king5.com with resources for parents and survivors of child sex abuse. Just text the keyword PROTECT to 206-448-4545 and we will send you that link.
And